Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Shannon and today I have finally plucked up the courage to film my Patreon announcement video. I have actually had my Patreon for around 6 months now. I set it up during the summer of last year, but I've never really posted about it on YouTube, and that is because I feel very uncomfortable doing so. I'm the type of person that finds it very hard to reach out to people for support, and this kind of thing really does make me anxious because I don't want people to feel like I am being privileged in a way. But before we go any further, let me just give you a little bit of information about Patreon. So Patreon is a site that allows you to support your favorite creators further. It's a place where you can get extra content from your favorite creators, as well as a load of different perks to go with that as a way of thanking you for your support. I actually love Patreon. I'm a Patreon of many different people, and it does actually make me quite sad because I would love to support even more people. However, my financial situation does change from month to month, so sometimes I have more money available to me to support other people, and some months I can't, which is such a shame. But I absolutely love it, and I know how much people appreciate others' support, even if it's just for that 1 month. And I had sort of been considering it for a while. A few people had asked me whether I was planning on creating a Patreon page so that they could support me further. However, for the longest time, I had a lot of self-doubt. I suffer massively from imposter syndrome here on BookTube. I never really feel like I'm good enough. I never really feel like people will want to support me, which is crazy considering that I now have over 3,700 of you guys supporting my channel. You have all subscribed to me, and that just blows me away. And I kind of decided, do you know what? I'm just gonna do it. People have asked for it, people seem interested, and so why not just start up a page and see how it goes? Now I must admit, because my life has been a bit chaotic recently, I've had the worst year of my life possibly in 2021. There were a lot of things that came up where I couldn't put my all into my Patreon page, which is definitely not what I wanted. I've had Patreon since I set up my page and they still support me to this day, which again just blows me away. But I feel like this year now I'm definitely going to make Patreon more of a priority, especially because, as crude as it sounds, people on Patreon are paying for your services, and so if you're not delivering on that service, I feel like you lose credibility and you lose the trust that you have with people. So I'm going to make Patreon my priority. I'm still going to have my YouTube channel. That is not going to change. However, I am going to have to keep to more of a schedule with Patreon because you guys know with my YouTube, sometimes I post 3 videos a week, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 1. It all depends on how much free time I have during the week, how much time I have to pre-film and things like that. But Patreon is going to be more of a real-time sort of thing, which I will go into in more detail when I go through all the different tiers. I'm sorry that this has been a very long intro. We haven't even gotten to the tiers yet, but I just want to put it across that nothing is going to change. You don't have to support me on Patreon. Your support on YouTube in itself and on every other platform means the absolute world to me. You have no idea how appreciative I am of every single one of you watching right now. But Patreon is a way that you can support me that little bit further, and all the money that I make from Patreon is going back into my YouTube channel in one way or another. So at the minute I am looking at buying a new tripod. I am currently sat on my floor, and for those of you who don't know, I have very bad joint pain, so my knees always seize up and ache when I sit down for too long, as well as my back. I do have really bad back pain, and so my goal is to have a chair in here that I can sit to film on, but obviously I need a taller tripod. So I am going to make my first Patreon purchase pretty soon, and that is to get a tall tripod, which I'm very excited about. I do eventually want to get some better lights. I want to get a proper DSLR camera as well, because I am currently filming all my videos on my Canon G7X camera, which I absolutely love. However, I would just like to up the quality even more, and Patreon will hopefully allow me to do that. So just to give you full clarity, full disclosure, my Patreon money will be going into my channel. It will be coming back into my channel to give you guys the best content that I can give, and I'm just so excited to see how this journey goes. That is definitely enough of a ramble from me now though. I am going to move on into the different tiers that I offer. All of my tiers are Lord of the Rings themed. You guys know how much I love Lord of the Rings. You guys know how much impact it has on my life, and I want my Patreon to be a safe space for me and for you guys, so that when you join, you know that that is our little corner of the internet. You're my little Patreon Patreon family, and the one thing that brings me so much joy and comfort is the Lord of the Rings. So my Patreon tiers are inspired by that series. I have decided to go for place names just because I feel like throughout The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings you do go on a massive journey. You see all the different lands, you see all the different races, and I just thought it would be a nice representation of inclusivity and for us all to feel comfortable and have a place on my Patreon. I am just going to move to the side so that I can pop some of the graphics on screen, but first off, my lowest tier is the Editor tier. This is £1 per month and it gives you access to my Patreon only feed as well as access to weekly live reading sprints. I did not want to make my Patreon inaccessible to people, which is why I've started at this low point. I did do some research, I had a look at other people's Patreons to see where they started off at, and for me personally, I can't afford to pay £5 a month to 5 people's Patreons. That's just not realistic for me. I don't have that money going spare, which is again such a shame, but it's just not realistic. So I did want to offer lower price ranges for you guys so that it is more accessible, and so that if you want to support me and can only give £1, that is completely fine. As I've mentioned, I've had my Patreon for around 6 months now. I have people in this tier and they do just make so much of a difference. I love chatting to them, I love seeing them on my live sprints, and it's just nice to once again see people supporting. So please don't feel guilty if you can only support me by joining the Editor tier. Every single one of you means the world. Every single one of you is going to contribute to Patreon in one way or another, whether you are on the highest tier or the lowest tier. All I want is for you to be able to join this safe space and share your love of reading with me. That is all I ask, and I felt like the best way for me to make that accessible to everyone and to give everyone that opportunity was to base it at £1. The next tier we have is the Shire. This is £2 a month, so again it's only a £1 increase on the last tier, and for this one you get all the benefits of the previous tier, so the Patreon only feed, access to live reading sprints and live shows, but the extra feature in this tier is that you get added to a Patreon only Discord. I love chatting to my Patreons on Discord. It just gives us such a more personal connection, and it not only means that you can interact with me, but it means that you can find other people that you may not have known about or followed before that you can now interact with and hopefully get to know and become friends with. So the text channels that I do have on my Patreon as of now when I'm filming this is General, which is just for your day-to-day chats. We have an introductions channel where you guys can introduce yourself, share your socials, things like that. We then have a books channel, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you have a book that you read and loved, you can share it on there, maybe recommend it to my Discord, things like that. Video updates is another one. We have a Patreon buddy read page, which I'm going to section off for my Patreon buddy reads, which again I will mention in a second. We have pets, so we can share pictures of our darling fur babies, and we also have a text channel for a watch along, which again I will get to in a second. So that is what you can expect from the Shire tier. The next tier we have is Rohan. This tier is £5 per month, and that is a bit of a jump from the Shire price. However, for this tier you will get access to my Patreon only feed, access to live reading sprints and live shows. You'll be joining the Discord, but as well as that you will gain access to a bi-monthly book club. I did try and do this monthly, however I was finding it very difficult to keep on top of, and I feel like by doing it bi-monthly it gives everyone the opportunity to get their hands on the book that we're going to be buddy reading. It's going to give more time for you to sit down and read it. We obviously then can talk about our thoughts whilst reading the book on Discord in the Patreon buddy read channel, and as well as that I will be posting a spoiler-filled vlog exclusive to Patreon for our book club book pick. So that is why the price has increased so much. It's because I am going to be doing a lot more for this tier. I do currently have a poll running for the January and February book pick. I know I'm a bit late with it, but it's fine. We're going to get on track after this one. But in case you guys are interested, I am just going to read out the options for you. So we have House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. Then we have The Bone Ships, which is an adult fantasy that involves dragons. Next we have One by One by Ruth Ware, which is an adult thriller. And the last option is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I thought that was pretty fitting to have that as an option going into a new year. You guys know it's my favourite book of all time, and so I just had to include it. The poll is still running. It will probably be running until the end of this week. So if you guys want to join and want to cast your vote, please do so as soon as possible. It's very tight at the minute, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what book we're gonna be reading, but either way I'm very excited for all of those both picks, and I cannot wait to read that book alongside you guys. The next tier we have is Gondor, and this is £7.50 a month. So you do get access to all the previous benefits, which includes access to my Patreon only live feed, access to live reading sprints and live shows, a link to our Patreon Discord, a bi-monthly Patreon book club, exclusive Patreon reading vlogs, and you also do get a shout out at the end of my videos. Your names will be on the end screen, and I will also be sending you guys a personalised thank you message for the month that you join. I have been doing these as letters, but if you would prefer it, I can send it through Instagram, Twitter, DMs, Discord, anything like that. Just please do let me know. But I think that that is once again such a personal touch, and I know that that would be something special for me to receive from a creator that I love and support as well. And then my last tier is Rivendell, and this is £10 per month. This tier is essentially for those who want to support me further. There isn't anything extra in this tier that I can offer you, but just know that by joining that tier, you guys are helping me out so much. Your love and support shines through. It means the absolute world to me, and I do just want to mention that you do get all the perks mentioned previously as well as a Patreon pick for my TBR game as well, which I forgot to mention is part of the Gondor tier as well. So just to clarify, the £10 tier is just if you want to support me further than the £7.50 tier. You do not have to at all. I don't really expect it, but it is there for those of you who maybe do want to give a little bit more where you can in order to support me and my channel. So that is it for my Patreon, you guys. I am still in shock at the fact that I am filming this. Once again, I do just want to say nothing is going to change with my YouTube channel or my Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. Patreon is just going to be that little bit more personal, where I share aspects of my life that I might not share on here. I am still going to be posting at least once a week on my YouTube, but I am going to be updating my Patreon in real time. I'm going to be sharing stuff that I do throughout the day. I'm going to be hosting a lot more reading sprints and things like that, where we can all chat and get to know each other on a more personal level. I completely understand if you cannot support me over on Patreon. I don't really expect it. It's just that if you wanted to. YouTube for me has been the best experience ever. I love posting on here. I love seeing my channel grow and chatting to all of you guys, finding new friends. It has just been the best experience, and I'm hoping that Patreon could be an extension of that and that we can all have a deeper connection as well. I'm really hoping that this video hasn't come across in the wrong way. My Patreon is there if you want to support me, and if you don't, that is completely fine. You guys watching my videos mean the world to me. You have no idea how much support you give me just by watching my videos, by commenting and by interacting with my posts. But for those of you who want to join my Patreon and can, that also just blows me away, and I can't put into words how much you mean to me. So this is my announcement video. Please don't feel pressure in any way to join, but I wanted to get out everything on my YouTube channel so that you can see what the different tiers offer in terms of benefits, and if you wanted to join, you could see which one suits you best. But that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please do leave me some orange hearts down in the comments. Whilst you're down there, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. And of course, please don't forget to check out my Patreon page if you would also like more content from me. It will be the first link that you see in the description box, and I really do hope that you love my page if you decide to join. For now though, I am going to end this video here, and I will see you soon in my next one. Goodbye!